Did you have fun doing the prank show?
Totally. It was a way to show another side, super creative characters. I loved it.
How did you keep a straight face?
I think you would know more than anyone, though. Here's what it is. Because there's so much preparation that goes into these, right? And the network was like, you can't miss. You got to get it.
Right.
If you don't, we don't have a fucking show.
Right.
And so we would go in, and with all the makeup and the intensity, I was like, it was war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After I got one or two, or something was really crazy and someone's just giving, the greatest is the reactions. People just like, what?
Right, yeah.
What? You know, so you could see me sometimes I do lose it, but for the most part, I'm like, I got to get it. But then afterwards, I would laugh.
I'm friends with a guy by the name of Pat Bullard. You know
Yeah.
Pat? You know Pat?
Some of the greatest pranks on my show with Pat Bullard.
Yeah,
Legend.
so he did one where, and it was great. You were a contestant on a game show, and the Mark was another contestant.
Yes.
And he was the host.
He was the host.
And he made rules that made no sense, and you guys were playing it, and we watched
Yes.
just confusion.
And that came out of the writer's room. We're sitting there and we're watching some game show, and we're like, what's the fucking... In the early 2000s, a new game show would come on every week, but they had different rules. And I'm like... And then, you know, our producers are brilliant. He's like, what if we made the most confusing game show? And, of course, Pat sells everything brilliantly. He's like, well, what you're going to do is steal his $100, give a $50 over to his aunt. You know, it was like... It was brilliant.
And you got it. It's just funny just to watch. And it's so funny that people won't. And that's the beauty. That's what my favorite thing in the world is pranks. And what's wrong? Oh, he's zooming in now.
I know because you don't let people in on the joke. The only time I know when you're joking is when you laugh, when you break on yourself.
When I break.
Because you play it.
So that came out of my favorite thing in life was I watched Candid Camera growing up. I don't like jokes.
The legend.
I don't like jokes. I love, and I always feel awkward and out of place, so I relate to that. But when it's real, you know, when you see somebody in an awkward or confusing or weird situation and you know you have control of that situation, it's just so funny to watch somebody.
Yeah. It's nothing is funnier than a real person's reaction.
Except nowadays, when you were talking about we can't do comedy, there is an adversity to it right now because people think it's mean. I don't think it's mean, but people do.
I have opinions. I'll keep some of them to myself, but my show was never mean. But I can see how it stressed people out. And at the end, we were very nice. But there are shows that are mean. A lot of the younger generation and these YouTubers, they're mean.
You don't think it was mean, some of the things you did in, like, Deal With It?
No.
No? Didn't someone throw her wedding ring into the away and you couldn't find it again because she was mad?
So we bought him a new one.
Bam. And she's on TV. Listen to this. Jacqueline will like this. I got sued.
For what?
I was the face of the lawsuit in 2002. Gloria Allred. Okay. There was hidden camera shows. There was Scare Tactics. There was mine. There was Punked. And there was a lawsuit. And it was pretty interesting. And what it said was these gotcha shows are illegally getting consent because people are in a state of shock and they should wait 72 hours before they sign. And so there was a big lawsuit. And Gloria Allred just got paid off by somebody.
But they didn't win that. I mean, that's not the law anymore.
Did they settle? Is that why they settled?
They settled.
Yeah, so it's not the law. That's a civil suit.
It was on 2020.
Yeah, I know because I'm involved.
So it's legit.
So I
was interviewed for 2020.
But I produce, and I produce a lot of shows that do these things. And even today,
Is today a two-party state or a one-party state?
California is a two-party state.
So it's, yeah, okay.
Nevada isn't.
Yeah, Nevada's one party.
Yeah, so which means for those that don't understand that they have to know that they are being taped, right?
Yeah.
And they have to know what it's for. But you can also do it where, and a lot of shows do this now, where they will bait and switch, which means you can say you're casting for a show.
Yep.
And then they come in for that show, and you talk to them, and you interview them, and you say you're going to be on this on-camera show.
And that's already the show.
They don't know what the show is, and they sign for it, and then they get called in maybe for another meeting on something, Maybe that show, that's not the show.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to be specific on what show it is, but you've just given your consent to be on a camera.
Yes. I listen, real people, I believe being on a show with you, people love it. You know what I mean? They want to be part of it. I do think that there is moments where I'm like, "Ooh, did I go too far?" But for the most part, I wasn't trying to be mean.
I don't try to scare anybody.
No, I
or
never
do
try to do that.
But I do annoy. I love when you get really mad at me.
Yes.
If I can make somebody angry, it's funny to me.
It's funny, yeah.
It is.
And at the end of the day, you're going to pay them. They're on TV.
No, I never paid. No, yeah.
There it is.
We did. But I had a game show. It was a game show. It's called Deal With It, which is still a format all over the world.
No, the one was on NBC. That Deal With It was different than the one on NBC.
I had one on TBS. Deal With It was hosted by Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, it's Theo and you. Yes.
Theo Vaughn.
Yes.
And Alex.
And my son.
Co-hosted sometimes.
Co-hosted. And then Deal With It was on NBC, and that was just a hidden camera prank show.
Mm-hmm.
But Deal With It was a game show.
Yeah.
So they got money for every time we would challenge them to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But one person in that didn't know that they were on a game show and getting pranked. So only one person was in on the prank and the joke. Just saying.
And I know you
Just saying.
That's what makes the prank even stronger, because there's only one person.
That's exactly it. You bring people into your world.
Yes.